The 4th of July is almost upon us, so let's talk about the number 4. To Hebrew Vocab Boost. I'm Sapir, and today I'm talking about the shoresh Resh Bet Ayin, which all has to do with the number 4. I'm losing my light here, so let's just get into it. So we're going to start with numbers, and they are all very much the same in modern Hebrew as they were in the Tanakh. Of course, the most basic number is the number 4, which in feminine is arba, and in masculine is arba'ah. And just to remind you, the feminine numbers are the ones that we count with, and they also are the numbers that refer to 4 feminine nouns, whatever those nouns may be, whether they are actual female people or something else that is just a grammatically feminine noun. And then arba'ah, the masculine form, is just going to be used for saying that there are 4 of a masculine noun, whether it's an actual male person or just any other masculine noun that is an object. And arba, or more specifically the masculine version arba'ah, has a construct form, which is arba'at. And that one is used when we are saying the 4 of something masculine. So if I want to say the 4 books that I need for my class or whatever, I'm going to say arba'at hasfarim. And this construct form is used in conjunction with the plural personal pronouns to mean something like the 4 of us, the 4 of you, or the 4 of them. And now in this case, when we're talking about the 4 of us, the 4 of you, the 4 of them, it does not have to be all masculine people. Even if I'm talking about us 4 girls, or you 4 girls, or the 4 of them, all of whom are women, we can still use this construct. So we can see here, we've got arba'atenu, that's going to be the 4 of us. Arba'atchem, that's going to be the 4 of you, masculine, or a mixed group. Arba'atchen, that's going to be you, the 4 of you, feminine, women or girls only. Arba'atam is going to be the 4 of them, and this is masculine or a mixed group. And arba'atan, and that's going to be for a female-only group. And I know I haven't talked about this much in the past, in my past videos that centered around numbers, but most numbers in Hebrew can be represented by one of the letters of the alphabet. And so the letter that corresponds to arba is going to be dalet. Of course, it's the 4th letter of the alphabet, so of course that corresponds to the number 4. Now, of course, we also have 2 numbers that will mean 14 because the teens also have a masculine and a feminine. And so in the feminine, we have arba'asre, and in the masculine, we have arba'asar. Now, all of the rest of the cardinal numbers are only going to have one form for masculine and for feminine. So we're going to start with arba'im, which means 40. And this is also represented by a letter of the alphabet, and the letter is mem. And then we also have arba me'ot, which means 400, and it's a feminine arba because the word me'a, meaning 100, is a feminine number. So arba me'ot. And this is the largest number that is represented by a single letter of the alphabet, and the letter is taf, which of course is the last letter of the alphabet. And then we can also say arba'at alafim, and that means 4,000. And again, this is the very typical way of saying the thousands, is that you have to use the masculine construct form of whatever that number is, and then you add it to alafim, which is thousands in the plural. All right, other numbers related to the number 4 are a word like reva, which means 1/4. And we also have revi'it, which also means a quarter. And now that is the feminine of the adjective revi'i, which is also the ordinal number meaning 4th. So when we talk about the 4th day, it's Yom Revi'i. And in modern times, Yom Revi'i also means Wednesday because it is the 4th day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4th day, Yom Revi'i, Wednesday. Now, Reva is how I normally hear people say 1/4 in modern times. And it often can refer to a quarter of an hour. So if I want to say that it's 1:15, I would say Hasha'a achat vareva. So it's 1:15. If I want to say it's 1:45, I say Hasha'a reva le'achat. So 1:45 the following hour. And so reva is the more typical way to say a quarter in modern Hebrew, but in the Tanakh, revi'it was the more common way, although both words were used to mean a quarter. And in fact, they were both used in a single verse in the Bible. And that verse is Exodus 29:40, and it says, Ve'isaron solet balul beshemen katit reva hahin v'neshech revi'it hahin yayin lakeves ha'echad. And it means there shall be 1/10 of a measure of choice flour with 1/4 of a hin of beaten oil mixed in, and a libation of 1/4 hin of wine for 1 lamb. Now in modern times we have lerabea. This is a verb. It's a PL verb, and it means to square or to quadruple. Squaring and quadrupling are very different things to do to a number in mathematics, and so it's a little bit, I wonder how they deal with that. I'm not sure how they deal with the ambiguity. The only time squaring and quadrupling are the same is if the base number is 4, right? And there's also a modern word, arba'atayim, which means 4 times or fourfold. As for adjectives, we have ravua, which means square as an adjective, like square-shaped. And this one is found in the Tanakh quite a few times, and it's also the word that we would say to mean something is square in modern times. This also refers to if you have a unit of length and now you are trying to make it a unit of area, you say ravua, and that means like a square centimeter or a square meter, right? So that's going to be now a unit of area rather than a unit of length. And meruba is an adjective. So in math, this means squared. So it can mean, like if you want to say 3 squared, you would say shalosh meruba. And according to the Academia, this can also be referred to a person with old-fashioned opinions, kind of like how in English we also say, oh, he's so square. I mean, now this is an old-fashioned way to talk. I've never actually said that. I know my mom would say it, but I don't know how popular this actually is to say in Hebrew. But at one point, it seems that it was a popular term to mean somebody who was square. As for nouns, in the Tanakh, we have ribe'im, which means 4th generations. And so this refers to usually like a punishment or a reward that somebody did something really good, really bad, or really good. And now the punishment or the reward is going to pass down to their family all the way to the 4th generations, ribe'im. And a really similar word, but it's used really differently, and it's only found twice in 2 Kings, is b'nei revi'im, and that is 4 generations, so all 4 generations. Now, in modern times, ribua is a square as a noun, and I never found this one in the Tanakh anywhere. We also have in modern times rova, which means a city block or a neighborhood. I think of it as like a quarter, right? We kind of do the same thing in English. I think of like the French Quarter in New Orleans, or out in the West, we don't really call any neighborhood a quarter, but I've heard it used in other cities. Revoua is a type of plant. I believe it's a genus, so it's actually many different plants. And it's a genus of plant called, in English, Tetragonia. And supposedly these plants, their fruits have like 4 kind of protruding corners, I guess, and so that's why they're called Tetragonia. Tetragonia in like the Greek roots means like 4 corners or 4 angles. Revi'ia is a quartet, a group of 4. And apparently there's also a card game called Revi'iot, so that would be the plural of Revi'ia. And so it's sometimes translated as quartets. Basically, the players are trying to collect groups of 4. We have all kinds of card games here in the States that we play that are very similar. And then the word meruba, remember we had it as an adjective. It also can work as a noun. And as a noun, it means a quadrilateral. And so any polygon that has 4 sides. And we also have the word shoresh meruba, which means a square root. And in grammar, it can refer to a shoresh that has 4 letters. So PL, hitpa'el, and pu'al verbs can all have the possibility of having a root, a shoresh, with 4 letters. And when they do, we call those gizarot, we call them gizrat hameruba'im. And so it's like the gizra of the 4-lettered shorashim. Now there's also a couple of phrases that have words with this shoresh, and one of them is arba knafot, which looks like it means 4 wings, but it seems to refer to 4 corners. So we have like arba knafot haaretz, and that feels like it means like the 4 corners of the earth. And it can also refer to a talit katan, which is a small talit. If you're used to thinking about if you know what a talis is or a talit, and you think of Jewish people when they're praying and they've got this big, it almost looks like a scarf. It's this, or a scarf or even a shawl, and it's this big thing, and the important part of it is the 4 fringes on the 4 corners. And so that is a talit. But a talit katan is a small one that gets worn under a man's shirt, and the fringes kind of stick out. The fringes are on the corners, and so it's, if you think of like a map with the 4 corners of the earth, if you kind of spread out the talit katan, you'll have the fringes in the same area, the 4 corners. Arba al Arba, I was all excited being a Jeep owner. I thought this was like a 4x4, but it's not. It actually does kind of mean 4x4, but it's referring to an area of 4 cubits by 4 cubits. And so I don't exactly know. I have no clue how much a cubit is, how long it is, but it's supposedly a very small area. So if you say something is an arba by arba, you're saying it's a very small area. Be'arba enaim, this is a phrase that refers to a meeting that is only between 2 people, because when you have 2 people, you have arba enaim, 4 eyes. Arba'at haminim, this is the 4 species that are blessed on Sukkot. This is the lulav, the arava, the myrtle, and the etrog. Ktav meruba, meruba, remember, is kind of squared or squarish, and this refers to the aleph bet, the printed one that we use in this day and age. This is the one that we adopted from Aramaic in the time of the Babylonian exile. And so the script is kind of more squarish than the original script that Hebrew was written with. And so that's how it got its name, the square script. And I've seen it said in English too. I've seen it called the square script. All right, that's it for today. I hope I can still be seen. I can tell it's really getting dark out here. Now you know all of the words that I have found related to the word for and the shoresh resh bet ayin. If you are here in the States, I wish you a happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July. And if you are anywhere else in the world, I just wish you peace wherever you are. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave them in the comments. Hit like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see more. Lehitraot papa'ama pa'a. See you next time.